Hello. If you've ever woken up after a full night's sleep and still felt like your body weighs 1,000 pounds, this video is for you. You went to bed early, you slept for 8 hours. And yet, when the alarm went off, it felt like you were being pulled out of concrete. You're not lazy, you're not broken, but there is a reason this keeps happening, and today, you'll finally understand why. By the end of this video, you'll know what's really making your mornings feel unbearable, and how to shift it, one small step at a time. So if you're tired of waking up tired, take a breath and stay with me. Let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I love seeing how far this message travels. Now, let's begin. You did everything right. You went to bed on time. No scrolling, no caffeine, no late night snacks. You gave yourself the full 8 hours, and yet, when your alarm pulls you out of the dark, it feels like you've been hit by something heavy, something invisible. Your body refuses. Your eyelids burn, your arms feel foreign, and your brain, it's still floating somewhere far away, a foggy space where thoughts can't form and time doesn't exist. You press snooze, not because you're lazy, but because you're stuck, like trying to run underwater, like dragging yourself out of quicksand with nothing to hold onto. There's no urgency, only confusion. You lie there, staring at the ceiling, or burying your face deeper into the pillow, wondering how it's even possible to feel this exhausted after doing exactly what everyone says you're supposed to do. And it's not just today. It's a pattern. Some mornings feel like punishment. You move in slow motion, as if your mind is 3 seconds behind your body, and your body is 3 days behind your life. You wonder if something's wrong with you. Maybe your sleep is broken. Maybe you are. Here's the part no one talks about. Being in bed for 8 hours doesn't mean you actually rested. It's possible to be unconscious all night and still wake up biologically unprepared for the day. Because waking up isn't just about sleep. It's about timing. It's about hormones. It's about the invisible dance your body is doing behind the scenes. And what happens when the rhythm is off? What if I told you that the reason you can't get out of bed isn't lack of sleep? It's because your brain is still trapped in a halfway state between dreaming and reality. That there's a specific window your brain needs to wake up with clarity, and if you miss it, everything feels heavier. Think about the mornings where you wake up before your alarm and actually feel okay. Almost refreshed. It feels random, doesn't it? Like a glitch in your otherwise sluggish routine, but it's not a glitch. It's a sign that your body hit the timing just right. You happen to wake up at the end of a sleep cycle, not in the middle. And that tiny difference changes everything. Now think about the other kind of morning. The one where the alarm drags you out of a deep, vivid dream and your heart's racing for no reason. You sit up, but it's like you're wearing weights. You stumble to the bathroom, blinking under the light, and the mirror reflects someone who looks more ghost than human. That's not just not being a morning person. That's your biology screaming. You weren't ready yet. It's not your fault. You weren't taught this. Most of us grew up hearing that sleep is about quantity. Hit the 8-hour mark and you're golden. But what if that's only half the equation? What if the time you wake up matters just as much, maybe even more? Because here's what they don't tell you. If you interrupt a deep sleep phase, your brain reacts the same way it would to sleep deprivation. Your cortisol levels surge. Your prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for decision-making and focus, stays groggy, and your emotional brain, more sensitive, more prone to stress. You carry that fog with you, and it doesn't shake off with coffee. It lingers, and you start to believe that maybe you're just a tired person. Maybe that's who you are now, but you're not. You're just waking up wrong. This video is going to show you why this happens, and, more importantly, how to shift your mornings from chaos to clarity. Because once you understand what's really going on, you stop blaming yourself, and start waking up with a whole new kind of power. Let's begin. You set the alarm with the best of intentions. You told yourself tonight would be different. No distractions. No staying up late. Just a clean, uninterrupted stretch of sleep. And when your head finally hit the pillow, there was even a flicker of hope. Maybe tomorrow would finally feel good. But now, it's morning. And it doesn't. You're lying there again, wrapped in blankets that feel less like comfort and more like chains. You stare at the ceiling, or maybe you don't even open your eyes yet, because what's the point? Your body is here, but your energy, your will, stayed somewhere inside the dream you were ripped from. There's a wordless kind of frustration in that moment, a betrayal. You did everything right, didn't you? So why does it feel like you've been run over by the night itself? It's not laziness. It's not weakness. It's not just how mornings are. It's something deeper and more universal than you think. Because the truth is, millions of people wake up every day feeling exactly like you do right now. Like their body belongs to someone else. Like the world is asking them to run a marathon. Before they've even had a moment to feel awake, they move through their morning like shadows of themselves, trying to gather enough momentum to just be human again. And that first hour, it's the hardest, not because you're unmotivated, but because your entire biology is still trying to return to the surface. Let's name it for what it is. You're not awake. Not really. You're caught in something science calls sleep inertia, a temporary state of cognitive and physical impairment that happens when you're jolted out of sleep at the wrong point in your cycle. But you don't need the label. You already know the feeling: heavy limbs, sluggish thoughts, no hunger, no spark, just fog. And it's in that fog that the inner voice begins. The one that whispers, maybe you'll never feel fully rested again. The one that says, this is just who you are now, tired, drained, pushing through. But it doesn't have to be, because here's the promise. This video holds. There's a reason you feel this way, and it's not just about how long you sleep. It's about how well your internal rhythms are syncing with your environment. It's about when you wake up, not just how long you sleep. And once you understand what your brain and body are trying to do every night, and how to stop sabotaging that process without realizing it, everything starts to shift. Imagine a morning where you open your eyes and actually want to move, a morning where your breath feels deep, your thoughts feel clear, and your limbs don't resist your commands. Imagine starting your day without a war between your will and your biology. It sounds small, but it changes everything. Your energy, your mood, your ability to focus, even your relationship with food and stress. Because the way you wake up doesn't just affect your morning. It sets the tone for your entire nervous system. This isn't about selling you some miracle, hack, or pretending there's one-size-fits-all solution. This is about giving you insight, language, tools, a way to finally understand the patterns that have been holding you down and how to step out of them. You deserve more than survival mode mornings. You deserve to wake up with lightness, with presence, with the full strength of your mind ready to greet the world. And here's something even more important. This isn't your fault. You weren't taught how sleep really works. You weren't told that alarm clocks can interrupt vital brain activity. You weren't shown how your light exposure, bedtime, timing, and evening habits can lock you into a rhythm that feels more like captivity. Then rest, you were told. Get 8 hours and you'll be fine. But fine isn't good enough. And when your body still feels broken after following all the rules, it starts to feel like you're the problem. But you're not broken. You're just waking up inside the wrong rhythm. And this video, it's here to help you find the right one. Keep watching. We're going to dive into the real reasons behind that unbearable heaviness in the morning, and how small, precise changes can start to lift it. No gimmicks, no pressure, just a path out of the fog, one breath at a time, because you're not lazy, you're not undisciplined, you're tired for real reasons, and it's time you knew what they were. Most people assume sleep is a simple transaction. You trade hours of stillness for a refill of energy. 8 hours in, 8 hours of function, out like a gas tank. But the truth is, sleep is not mechanical. It's biological, emotional, hormonal, and deeply sensitive. It doesn't just depend on the time you spend in bed. It depends on how your brain travels through very specific stages. And waking up is not the beginning of your day. It's the end of a process that started long before your alarm ever went off. Here's something strange. Your brain knows the sun is rising, even when your eyes are closed. Deep inside your hypothalamus, there's a cluster of neurons called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, the command center for your circadian rhythm. It's tuned, like a secret radio, to the cycles of light and darkness. When the first light of morning begins to creep through the window, that center starts sending signals. It gradually raises your core temperature. It tells your adrenal glands to release a slow drip of cortisol, not in a stressful burst, but in a measured way designed to prepare you to wake. But when this system is off, when the light is too artificial, when your bedtime fluctuates, when stress hormones surge, at the wrong hour, your brain can't prepare properly. So when your alarm clock rings, it's not catching your body at the finish line. It's yanking you out in the middle of the race, and that hurts. Think of sleep as a descent into layers. You don't just close your eyes and fall asleep. You drop through stages: light sleep, deep sleep, and REM, a dream-rich state of intense brain activity. These cycles repeat every 90 minutes or so. But if your alarm goes off in the middle of one of those cycles, especially during deep sleep or REM, your brain reacts like it's being attacked. You feel groggy, disoriented, and physically resistant to movement. This phenomenon is called sleep inertia, and it can last anywhere from 15 minutes to several hours. Now here's the twist most people never hear. Even if you slept a perfect 8 hours, it's entirely possible you still woke up in the middle of a cycle, which means your body didn't finish what it was doing. Your brain is mid-process. The chemical soup of sleep is still active. Melatonin lingering, cortisol not yet ramped, your core temperature still low. In that moment, your body is not ready for the day. It's still trying to be night. Let's go even deeper. Modern life has broken the rhythm we evolved to follow. For hundreds of thousands of years, humans lived by light. We woke with the sun. We wound down with the dusk, but today, our evenings are flooded with screens, artificial bulbs, digital stimulation. We signal our brains that it's still daytime long after the sun has disappeared. So, instead of gently winding into the hormonal cascade that promotes deep sleep and morning clarity, we confuse the system, and a confused circadian rhythm leads to chaotic mornings. In fact, there's research showing that people who go to bed and wake up at inconsistent times, even if the total sleep time is the same, feel more fatigued than those with shorter but consistent sleep schedules. Why? Because your internal clock craves rhythm, not just rest. When that rhythm is broken, your brain doesn't know how to time the wake-up chemicals. You get the alarm, but you don't get the signal, and it gets worse. There are subtle things you might be doing without even realizing that send mixed messages to your body. Checking your phone in bed floods your eyes with blue light, halting melatonin. Eating late at night raises your core temperature, delaying sleep onset. Drinking alcohol might knock you out, but it fragments deep sleep later in the night. All of these behaviors create micro-stresses that echo into your morning. You don't remember them, but your body does, and that means your alarm clock isn't just waking you from sleep, it's waking you from disrupted, unstructured, misaligned sleep, which is why your brain feels like it's underwater. Why the mirror doesn't make sense. Why the thought of standing up feels like a battle you're not ready to fight. But here's the real revelation. Your mornings are not just random, they are the direct result of what happened during the night, and even more specifically, how and when you exited the final stage of sleep. You're not just waking up in the wrong way, you're waking up at the wrong moment. And that moment matters more than anyone told you. No one teaches this in school. No one explains that your brain needs at least 30 to 60 minutes of natural light exposure after waking to complete the biological switch. That hitting snooze doesn't give you more rest, it actually fragments your last cycle and deepens sleep inertia. That the grogginess you feel might not be from lack of sleep at all, but from mistimed sleep. This video isn't about fear, it's about clarity. Because once you understand the hidden rhythms beneath your sleep, and why waking feels like a crash instead of a lift, you can finally start making changes that don't just touch your night, but transform your day. You're not broken, you're just misaligned. Let's fix that. Let's rewind your night. Not just the moment you laid down, but everything that led to it. The light you were exposed to, The thoughts that filled your head, the food you ate, the noise you didn't notice. Because sleep isn't a switch. It's a story your body tells itself, moment by moment. And for the ending to feel good, the beginning has to be set up just right. Here's where it all begins. Your circadian rhythm. That invisible 24-hour clock that controls everything from your alertness to your temperature to your hormone levels. It's like a conductor in an orchestra, delicate, precise, and easily thrown off key. If that conductor is out of sync, the whole system stumbles. You fall asleep at the wrong time. Wake up too early, or worse, wake up after enough. Sleep and still feel like your brain has been unplugged from reality. In an ideal world, your circadian rhythm would sync perfectly with the rising and setting of the sun. You'd wind down slowly, melatonin would build in your bloodstream like a soft tide. And as you sleep, your body temperature would drop to its lowest point. Around 2 to 3 a.m., your body would enter its deepest recovery state. Then, as morning light appears, even through closed eyelids, your brain would gradually suppress melatonin, increase cortisol, and raise your temperature, setting the stage for a natural awakening. But most of us aren't living in that world. Instead, our evenings are soaked in artificial light. Our bedrooms glow with the soft blue hue of screens. Our minds stay active long after our bodies want to rest. That bedtime notification on your phone, most of us swipe it away, telling ourselves we'll sleep later, only to spend another hour scrolling through lives that aren't ours, filling our brains with stimulation we don't process, until finally, out of guilt or exhaustion, we close our eyes. But here's what you don't feel: the delay in melatonin, the disrupted temperature curve, the spike in cortisol caused by stress, or sugar, or just the pressure to fall asleep. These things don't stop you from sleeping entirely, but they do distort the rhythm. They push your cycles out of alignment. And even though you might clock in 8 hours of unconsciousness, the architecture of your sleep is skewed. This is why you can sleep enough and still wake up feeling like a stranger in your own body. Because not all sleep is created equal. Let's talk about those stages. Sleep comes in waves, each one a cycle that includes light sleep, deep sleep, and REM. Each stage plays a role. Deep sleep is your body's repair zone, the place where muscles rebuild, where immune responses strengthen, where your heart rate slows and your body goes into full recovery mode. REM sleep, on the other hand, is your mental workshop. It's where your brain processes emotion, consolidates memory, and runs simulations of real life through dreams. But here's the catch. You need to move through those stages in rhythm. The first few cycles of the night are heavier on deep sleep. The later ones shift toward REM. If something wakes you in the middle, a sound, light, a stressor, the architecture is interrupted, you might fall back asleep. But the cycle doesn't just pick up where it left off. It restarts. And if that restart happens too many times, you wake up feeling like your brain never truly finished what it was trying to do, and then there's when you wake up. If your alarm pulls you out of deep sleep, which it often does, especially if you're sleep deprived, you're launching your brain into a state it isn't ready for. Your blood pressure is low. Your core temperature hasn't risen. Your executive function is offline. You're not lazy. You're chemically, neurologically unavailable. This is why those mornings feel so disorienting. You don't just feel tired, you feel like your soul is missing. You pour the wrong milk, you forget your keys. You stare at emails without understanding what they mean. You walk into rooms and forget why. That's not just a bad day, that's your brain still transitioning, and here's what makes it worse. Most people respond by forcing themselves awake. Caffeine, cold showers, frantic movement, anything to shock the system into action. And while those tricks might help you function, they don't fix the underlying rhythm. They just mask the dysynchronization. You carry the weight of that misalignment through your day, and by the time night comes again, you're exhausted but not necessarily sleepy. You stay up later. You repeat the pattern. And slowly, the rhythm that's supposed to guide you becomes a loop you can't escape. But there is another way. Your sleep is not just a product of how tired you are. It's a mirror of how aligned you are, and the better you understand the invisible mechanics behind it, The hormones, the light exposure, the temperature shifts, the neurological patterns, the more power. You have to change the experience of waking up, because it is possible to wake up without dread. It is possible to feel your mind rise with your body, to stretch and actually want to get out of bed. But it starts by seeing sleep not as a passive state, but as an active journey. A journey that begins hours before you close your eyes, and ends, not with an alarm clock, but with your brain saying, "I'm ready now." Here's the part that changes everything. You're not tired because you didn't sleep enough, you're tired because you didn't wake up right. That may sound strange at first, but stay with me. The way you wake up is not a neutral moment. It's a precise neurological and hormonal transition, and most of us are completely missing the window. Imagine your sleep like a train gliding through tunnels, each one darker and deeper than the last. As morning approaches, the train begins. Too slow, the tunnels become lighter. The walls start to open. The final phase is meant to be gentle, a gradual emergence into daylight, with your brain primed, your cortisol gently rising, your body temperature creeping upward. When that sequence completes, waking up feels natural. You don't bolt out of sleep, you surface. But when you wake in the middle of a tunnel, especially during deep sleep or REM, your body reacts like it's being pulled from the bottom of the ocean. You gasp for light. Your thoughts scatter. Your limbs resist. And no matter how many hours you slept, your system feels ambushed. It's not that you didn't rest. It's that your brain didn't get to finish its process. And here's the twist. It happens to everyone who isn't synced with their internal rhythm. You could be the most disciplined sleeper on earth, 8 hours sharp, no caffeine, no screens, and still feel miserable at 7 a.m. because you woke up in the wrong part of the cycle. That's it. That's the villain in your morning story. Not a lack of motivation, not a poor attitude, just bad timing. Once you understand that, the guilt begins to lift. You realize your struggle isn't a personal failure, it's a biological mismatch. A misfire in the communication between your environment, your habits, and your internal clock. And the solution? It's not extreme, it's not complicated, it's not about pushing through. It's about predictability. See, your brain doesn't crave intensity, it craves rhythm. The same wake time, the same light exposure, the same gentle cues. That's what resets the internal machinery. That's what aligns your sleep cycles to end before your alarm sounds. That's what lets you wake up feeling clear, not crushed. And this isn't just theory. There are people, real exhausted people, who made one shift, and everything changed. They moved their bedtime 30 minutes earlier and kept it consistent. They stepped outside into real morning light for 10 minutes upon waking. They stopped hitting snooze, and instead sat up, breathed, and let their bodies catch up. And within days, the heaviness lifted. The fog thinned. They didn't become superhumans, they just became themselves again. So the insight is this: the morning is not the beginning, it's the result, it's the harvest of every signal, every choice, every subtle message your body received the night before. And if you keep ignoring that, if you keep forcing wakefulness like it's a punishment, you'll keep losing the battle. But if you tune into the pattern, if you give your body the rhythm it's starving for, something begins to shift. You stop waking up like a ghost, and you start rising like a person who was truly, deeply, finally, rested. Let's take this out of theory and into your life. Because knowing why your mornings feel heavy is only the beginning. Now, it's time to shift the rhythm. The first thing to understand is this: your body wants to cooperate with you. It's not working against you, it's waiting for the right signals. And when you give it those signals, consistently, gently, and at the right time, it responds faster than you think. Start with light. Not just any light, natural morning light. As soon as you wake up, even if you're tired, even if your eyes are half shut and your brain still feels like fog, go to a window. Or step outside for just 5 minutes. Let the real sky hit your eyes. You don't have to stare at the sun or do anything special. Just allow that light to reach your retina. This one action resets your circadian rhythm more powerfully than any supplement or alarm clock ever could. It tells your brain, It's morning, you can begin. Then, anchor your wake-up time. Choose 1 hour, not 5 different ones across the week. Even on weekends, even after bad nights, try to stay within a 30 to 60-minute window. This is what trains your brain to expect the shift. When your wake-up time becomes predictable, your sleep cycles start ending more precisely. You're more likely to wake at the end of a cycle, and that's when you feel light, not broken. Now, resist the snooze button. Not because it's a sign of weakness, but because it fragments your final sleep cycle. Every time you drift back after the alarm, you pull your brain into a shallow, incomplete phase that leaves you more disoriented. Instead of snoozing, try this. Sit up, stay still for a moment, breathe, let your body realize it's safe. The resistance you feel isn't permanent. It's just the last trace of sleep inertia, and it passes faster when you move toward wakefulness with calm intention, not force. You can also support your mornings by adjusting your nights. Keep your bedroom cool, around 18 to 20 degrees Celsius, 65 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit is ideal. Dim the lights an hour before bed, avoid screens, or at least switch to night mode. These small changes tell your brain that darkness is coming, and that means melatonin can rise. You're creating conditions, not demanding sleep. That distinction is key. And here's one of the simplest but most overlooked actions. Wind down. Not just physically, but mentally. Most people climb into bed with their minds still sprinting. You can't expect a brain that's been scrolling, worrying, analyzing, and reacting to suddenly shut off like a machine. So give it a signal. Read, stretch, listen to something soft, or just sit in silence. Let your body understand, we're going to rest now. There are also tools, if you need support. Try a sunrise alarm clock, one that simulates dawn by gradually filling your room with warm light. 30 minutes before your wake time. It mimics nature. It's gentle, and it works. Or use soft music, a calming playlist that eases you into consciousness, instead of shocking you out of sleep. And if you wake up groggy, don't panic. That doesn't mean the system is failing. Your body is adjusting. Give it water, give it light, give it motion. Within 20 minutes, you'll feel the shift, that almost imperceptible moment where your mind clicks back into focus and your body feels like it belongs to you again. What matters most isn't perfection, it's consistency. You don't need a flawless routine. You just need to send your body the same message every night and every morning. We're safe, we're predictable, we're ready. That's what rebuilds your rhythm. That's what gives your brain permission to move with you instead of against you. You don't have to overhaul your entire life to feel better. You don't need to become a morning person overnight. You just need to create a rhythm that your body can trust, because when your body trusts you, when it knows what to expect, everything gets easier. Waking up stops being a battle and starts becoming a return. What if your mornings didn't begin with resistance? What if opening your eyes felt like a quiet return, not a fight against gravity? You may not believe that's possible, not yet. Because for so long, you've associated waking up with dread, with confusion, with the weight of moving through the world before your soul has even caught up. But your body remembers what it feels like to wake with ease. It's in you. Somewhere under the exhaustion and the habits and the noise, your rhythm is waning. Waiting for you to stop forcing. Waiting for you to listen. You don't have to earn your right to feel good in the morning. You don't have to punish your way into productivity. All you need is alignment. A gentle commitment to showing up at the same time. To opening your eyes with light. To giving yourself the grace to move slowly, instead of jolting into action. Sleep isn't just what happens when the day ends. It's what decides how the next one begins, and when you start honoring the quiet intelligence of your internal clock, when you create space for your body to complete what it started, you'll notice something subtle. The fog lifts earlier. The thoughts come faster. Your breath feels deeper. The resistance softens, not all at once, but enough to remind you, you are not broken, you are just out of rhythm, and now you're learning how to come back. If waking up has always felt like a struggle, you're not alone, and more importantly, you're not stuck. Your body is not working against you, it's just waiting for rhythm, waiting for light, waiting for a pattern it can trust. Even the smallest change, waking up at the same time, stepping into the morning light, resisting the snooze, can begin to reshape the way you rise. This isn't about becoming perfect, it's about reclaiming the part of your day that sets the tone. For everything else, you don't have to force yourself out of bed anymore. You can rise gently, clearly, fully, when your body finally knows it's time. If this video spoke to you, I'd love to hear your story. Have you felt this kind of heaviness in the morning? What has helped, or what hasn't? Let me know in the comments, and if you want to understand your sleep on a deeper level, don't forget to subscribe. This channel was made for you. We'll talk soon.